What's up, y'all? Knight's Edge here again. Got another really good review, really interesting knife here. One that Mr. Eddie actually let me check out. Y'all go check him out on Instagram. It's Mr. Eddie _411. If you want to check him out on Instagram, really great guy. He makes some custom fixed blades too, which is really cool. So definitely go give him a holler. Also, my Patreon. I think I kind of changed the channel intro. Hopefully by now to kind of show it, but I was approved for Patreon, so I have a Patreon. If you guys want to check it out, the link's down below in the description. That would be awesome. Really help all. Appreciate all the support for the channel. Everything that goes into Patreon, helps go towards shipping or getting new knife content for the channel. So really appreciate that. So this one, the Hinderer knives XM-24 USA made monster knife. Man, this thing's crazy. This is definitely a hell of a workhorse. They did good putting the horse on the front of this one, just like most Hinderer knives, right? It's definitely a no holds barred, full throttle, hell of a USA made knife. Now Hinderer knives, they make knives small batch USA made. They've been becoming more and more available here lately. But these are still unavailable, I believe, at the time of me making this video. I'll put some kind of link up down there. I don't get anything. I don't have any affiliate links to put up right now. But yeah, these things are definitely hard to get. Just like the XM-18. XM-18s actually and Eclipses have been becoming more and more available with Hinderer knives. But the XM-24 is kind of not. And it's for good reason. I mean, they're great knives, and I kind of see how they're hard to get. But before I get into the too into the weeds, I'm gonna go ahead and get this out of the way. So this might not be a knife for you if you like knives that you can carry without your pants falling down. It is definitely an overbuilt knife, so I could understand, even though I love it, I can understand why somebody would not prefer to carry it. So if you're looking at it from the tip of the blade all the way to the butt of the handle, you're looking just a hair under 9¼ inches right there is what I got. A little over 9/8, in between 9/8, 9¼ overall blade length on this thing. If you go all the way back to where it meets up, where the blade meets up with the handle scale there, you're looking right at 4 1/8. If you're looking at cutting edge on this thing, you're looking right at, let's say, right at 3 5/8 right there. So every definition of a full-size knife, even what I would call, kind of like an Excel knife, especially with the, the overall length there. So, get the calibers out here. The blade stock thickness check. Now it does kind of swedge down a little bit, but yeah, this is pretty thick. You're looking at 18 or 180 thousandths there. Do another check down here. 181. Thickest part of the spine I got right there. Looking at 182 thousandths. Flip her over. See how far down she goes. Let me make sure I'm getting that all the way. Yeah, so you're looking right around 28 thousandths. What I got right there, 26 and a half, between 26, 28 thousandths or so. So definitely not a super thin slicer, and almost 0.6 of an inch with a handle thickness there. And this is the one with the G10 scales, obviously not the one with the titanium scales. So I would think that would add to all kinds of stuff, weight and all that. But yeah, let's go ahead and get out some size comparisons here. Got the Spyderco Paramilitary 2. That'll tell you right there, how big this thing is. A very large knife, y'all. Definitely 100%. But definitely what I would say is a good knife to, if you're going in outdoors or whatever and you got a fixed blade, you need a backup, or if you just, want to have an overbuilt knife and be prepared for any situations. I would personally, would be the type of person to carry this unless I'm wearing like, pajamas or, some kind of like gym shorts or going to a super fancy dinner or something like that. Other than that, I would be more likely to carry something like this and something smaller, but that's just me. And everyone's different. So yeah, there you go. That is it up against the Paramilitary 2 and the Para 3. I want to take a look at an XL Spyderco right here. Now this is the Mannix XL. Right, another XL knife. So what you see there is it's actually a little bit, just a hair longer overall than the Mannix XL, right? depending on where you look at it with the camera. But yeah, overall length. Now it looks a lot shorter whenever you put it up there, right? But whenever you put it down here, it looks a little different, especially that little hump, that little pistol grip that the Mannix 2XL's got. But I thought that was a neat little comparison, right? So I would say pretty close to the range of that, right? And the Mannix XL is definitely, you know, an extra large, what I would say is an extra large size knife. So anyway, that's it for the Spyderco. So you got the Ontario knives, Rat Model 1, Ontario Rat Model 2, you know, bigger than the Rat 1, so bigger than both. And you got the Hogue, Ritter Hogue RSK MK1 and G10, so bigger than that one. And if I can get my last one here, Hogue Deca, right? So way bigger than the Hogue Deca. You know, this is like a kind of a modern day pocket friendly, everyday carry knife. That's not, unless you're, you know, a firefighter, first responder, or, you know, like I said, somebody that does a lot of stuff in the woods, or just like a weird person like me that likes to carry larger knives. You know, I would have no problem with this, like I said, depending on the pants and the situation. So yeah, let's go ahead and get the scale out here. And kind of sidetrack there, I guess, telling you guys the same thing over and over again. Try not to do that. 7.6 ounces, definitely a heavy knife, right? 7.6 ounces. So to contrast that, the Paramilitary 2, which is a full-size knife, you know, by most anybody's definition, with the titanium Lotus scales on it, not G10, you know, titanium scales on it, 4.9 ounces, right? So you're well over the ounce and inch ratio with this bad boy, for sure. Definitely well over that, but, you know, like I said, it depends on me personally. It would depend on, you know, the situation and the outfit, I guess, that I had on, you know. So that's what you're looking like in pocket. So yeah, definitely a good little bit sticking out. Not, you know, when you consider the overall size of the knife, it goes down to, you know, all the way down to here. So when you consider the overall size of the knife, not an especially large amount sticking up, you know, very good ratios, you know, well, it is a larger version of the XM-18, right? And we'll go ahead and get that one out, do the last size comparison there with that one. I'm going to do a video, kind of an overall comparison video between these two, you know, but that is an XM-18 3.5 inch. So this kind of shows you what you're dealing with there. All right, so got that out of the way, all the specs. Now we'll do hardware check. This is a T8. All right, so T8 there. That one's actually kind of loose. What are you doing, Mr. Eddie? Oh, that's crazy. Yeah, that one's a little loose. I'll tighten that one up for him. Check that one. That one's not loose. So these are all T8s right here. You can use a dime or a flathead or anything you want to, you know, getting that pivot there. So that's a good thing. Got a little bit of hardware for this thing for sure, but you know, nothing too overcomplicated. It's a frame lock with very good lockout while I'm at it. But yeah, the pocket clip screws are actually Phillips head too. So flathead, Phillips head, and a T8, and you're pretty much in business with this thing the way it looks, right? And it doesn't carry left or right-handed, but it will carry, oh, let me double check that before I forget. This is, what is that one? That T6? That would be weird. Yeah, I guess I chose to use a T6 over on the lock bar screw there. So yeah, all right. So T6 on that one. T6, T8 on everything else. Scale wise, then you got your flathead screw and you got your Phillips head screws right there. And one good thing about these is they do have that little tab, right? So if you want to carry it, this is mounted for tip up carry, which pretty much every red-blooded American carries it like that, right? But I mean, if you like tip down carry for whatever reason, I mean, some people, all jokes aside, some people really do prefer, the tip down carry, because this or that, whatever, So you do have that tab there, so you can take this off easily. I did a little short on it actually once, so take that off, put it here, take the tab out, put it there, and voila, you got it. You got a tip down carry. So, all right, that's pretty much it with hardware, man. This is an S45VN. I believe they're offered in various different types of steels, but all American made. Hinderer knives with a tri-way pivot system. So if you want to go from uh, ball bearings, which is what this runs on, pretty smooth as you can see. Kind of glassy little, drop shut kind of action. It's not exactly guillotine, but yeah, if you want to change out the bearings to phosphor bronze, it comes with that, or Teflon. So you can do, ball bearings, Teflon washers, or phosphor bronze washers. That's why they call it the tri-way pivot system. So that's a pretty cool thing about that's a little symbol right there. That's a pretty cool thing about these as well. So you do have an option there. Phosphor bronze to kind of keep dirt and grit out a little more better than ball bearings will. Teflon's a little more corrosive resistant than either of the other two. So that's definitely good to have those options there. Really cool. And they do sell these scale single. Sell a lot of these, so you can get this single side scale from DLT Trading has a ton of Hinderer accessories, and even some Hinderers in stocks every now and then. Not this one in particular right now, but they do put them out, for sure. I believe they have the XM-18 and the Hinderer. I think they have one of the fixed blades, maybe, and maybe the Eclipse too. I'm not sure, in stock right now. So yeah, they're becoming a little more available coming out of COVID and a couple years down the road. But these are still small batch, American made, some of the best quality knives you can get as far as American made knives. These aren't mass stamped out, mass produced like Kershaw or Gerber or something like that. So definitely a high quality knife. Now as far as materials, like I said, G10 on this side. Titanium here, and S45VN. You kind of got like that spear point, I guess you could call it a spear point blade shape there. Really cool blade shape, really good for a lot of things. Hollow grind. So even though it's super thick, I'm gonna get a piece of paper out here so I know this doesn't prove anything, but a little paper cut test here to see if it'll, it slices. It'll slice through the paper pretty good, So definitely will do some, some slicey work for sure. It's just not a super slicer. It does have a super thick blade stock. Now it does have a pretty good hollow grind on it. Looks like to me, anyway. I've been kind of off and on being able to tell grinds lately, but yeah, I mean, to me, that looks like a hollow, right? I mean, if it was a flat, it would all be like that and then going down. So, maybe not. Correct me in the comments, as always. I'm always open to learning. So, I am by zero means an expert in any of this stuff. I like knives and like to put out my findings here. So, choke back, plenty of room, full 4-finger grip, choke back, easy. And would still, like I said, a lot of leftover room there. Choked up, a ton of room. So definitely comfortable, really comfortable choked up. That finger choil feels like it's a little bit bigger than the XM-18, so it feels a little bit better, honestly, choked up than the XM-18 does. I really like the ergonomics of this one. It feels really good. I'm not going to put it in my most recommended knives playlist just because of the size of it, because I know, there's a ton of people that that love like Hinderer knives or the XM-18, and they probably wouldn't carry the XM-24 every day just because of the size of it. But it is a great knife though. gonna be in my USA made playlist for sure, and it might be in some other larger knives or overbuilt knives playlist or something like that later. But yeah, overall, this is a great knife, man. Great knife. I think they retail around $595 whenever they're available. So they're definitely not cheap. Hinderer knives, small batch, USA made, as good a quality as I think you could get, really, as far as something that's not like completely 100% handmade. It is pretty close to that small batch production USA knife. So really, really super good knife and really large overbuilt knife for sure. But the lock bar, easy to access, easy to open and close it. No double clutch, right? So once it clears that, that's the detent right there. So whenever you pass the detent right there, you can move your thumb out of the way, and that flipper tab's not going to bite your thumb, right? Unless you let it kind of linger there. But so that's good. The flipper tab is one thing that throws a lot of people off for this one, and the XM-18 and Hinderer knives in general. They do have non-flippers though, but that it helps you get a lot of purchase on it. So this thing comes firing out there, So you can get a lot of finger behind this flipper tab, giggity, to open it up, and it fires out pretty hard. So that's one advantage of having that huge flipper tab, and it kind of serves as a finger guard a little bit too. Keeps you from kind of sliding back, forward or whatever. But kind of helps you feel, or me anyway, feel a lot more locked in. And something to kind of pull back on whenever I'm choked up like that. But it is definitely what Shabazz would call a pocket pecker for sure. Definitely a good little bit sticking out right there with that flipper tab. But I think that's about it. This is Hinderer XM-24. Really appreciate everyone watching. Appreciate everyone subscribe to the channel. And as you can see in the intro, I do have a Patreon now. So if you care to support the channel, support more of the madness or whatever, I do use everything for Patreon for more knife content, shipping, whatever. Don't really make no money off of it. Just kind of helps me be able to do this a little more. So that's pretty much it, y'all. Appreciate everyone watching. Appreciate everyone that supported the channel, like I said. And y'all have a good evening, morning, night, whenever you're watching this. Till next time, stay sharp.